concern? What were the things that you were trying to answer?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Today was a really good day. I think it was one of the first times that we as an industry really engaged with regulators and policymakers very directly so that we could actually share information and have really good conversation back and forth. Today there was a lot of focus on stablecoins, particularly the USD-backed stablecoins, and there was focus on whether or not there should be statutory language that should be put around that to create more regulation that could be focused specifically on how stablecoins should hold their reserves and how transparent they need to be with what their reserves are. So that was a big focus. There was also just a lot of information and education around how blockchain works, what happens with respect to the CEOs were from trading platforms, and so talking about the trading platforms and consumer protection. There was a lot of information. It was a 5-hour hearing, so it was really a lot of exchange there.
Hey,
Buy more Uber.
Just some questions about the use cases. I think that's really important and probably what a lot of those folks want to hear about. Thinking about Stellar in particular, I own some Lumens in my own personal Coinbase account. I just think it's extremely interesting in terms of what it can facilitate relative to payments. So maybe walk us through some of the use cases for the folks out there.
Yeah, one of the most important things that I wanted to do today was sort of change the narrative, because there's so much always focus on what's the promise of blockchain, and we really wanted to be focused on what is actually happening today with respect to blockchain. And I highlighted 3 particular use cases. I think one of them that is active and available today is Leaf Global. Leaf is actually focused on refugees and on cross-border folks who have to cross the border with goods, and the ability to be able to put their money and their value into digital assets and to carry that across the border where they're very, very vulnerable as they cross the border is a really important use case. Once they actually get across the border, they can then leverage those digital assets to make payments, to be able to pay any bills that they have, or to be able to send value and send money to others. So that particular wallet, Leaf Global, provides a really interesting use case that's really focused on problems that are focused locally in Africa, where their product is mostly used. So that is just one use case. There are others. I think Tala is one of the ones I talked about that's in development, and they're already due. They have credit that you can actually apply to get credit on Tala for these small micro loans, and they give you a response right away. So now they're moving into be able to build some of this on Stellar, so they can use the Stellar assets and use stablecoins in particular to be able to provide these services to their consumers. So it's a pretty awesome, when you focus on the use cases and you talk about what's actually happening and what is and the value of blockchain, it makes it really hard to walk away from it.
Hi, it's Steve Grasso. So what would you say your biggest win is? On the use cases, to Jeff's point, that most of the public and politicians don't really understand how to use it, or is it adoption, or are they both hand in hand?
I think that I won't use the word ignorance. I'll say that I think the challenge is the lack of education, and I think that's part of industry actually, that we haven't done the best job educating, and we focus so much on the technology stack and not enough on the use case and what actually can be done with this technology. And so I think that we need to be better at explaining what actually is happening and can happen, and to encourage policymakers to focus on, don't regulate too early with respect to this. Let's move ourselves to a place where we can let this grow and let this grow, and we're going to see what shapes up. And that's what we did in the early days of the web. There was a lot of good hesitancy and resistance to regulation in the early days of the web, and I think that we need to sort of have that same thing now. And I think in terms of adoption, one of the challenges that I think with adoption for blockchain generally is the on and off ramps have always been really hard. Because you either need to have a bank account or a credit card to be able to get onto blockchain and to leverage it. We have this great partnership now on the network with MoneyGram International, and that's going to allow folks to walk into a MoneyGram location and take their fiat in, so they don't have to have bank accounts. They can convert it to digital assets on wallets that are Stellar enabled, and then utilize those assets in whichever way they choose to. And the same for an off ramp. So that's like a really good step, transformational for the network, and frankly for blockchain, because it demonstrates the value of that interoperability between the traditional financial system and these new rails.
Danelle, before we let you go, most of us here and even watching will never be in front of a Senate or House committee or panel testifying or having to something. Can you take us through what the biggest, I guess, gap was in terms of lawmakers, what their perception of cryptocurrencies in that industry is, and what exactly can be done to maybe make that regulatory environment?
Hey man, you watching the? Did you watch the thing all day?
I'm watching the summary right now of this.
Gotcha. I was in and out of the actual. Is it House or the Senate?
Oh, you went there in person? No, this is just like a summary someone's talking about.
Oh no, I was not. I was definitely not there in person, man. I'm definitely not in the U.S. government.
Yeah, so this is a playback too. This is like from an hour ago.
Cool, man. Cool. You do NFTs as well, or just cryptocurrencies?
Just crypto, stocks, and real estate. I will do NFTs. I'm just waiting to get loans against your NFTs. So once I figure out what the requirements are to get a loan against your NFT, then I'll start investing in NFTs. I just have to wait for the banks or the crypto exchanges to set it up.
Right. Well, hey, I won't ruin your summary. I don't want to kill the audio for it. So, but I'm gonna send you one. You should definitely look at. No, it's not mine. No, it's not a friend's. But if you're actually gonna look at like a technology-based one, freaking bomb. So I'll send that to you. And happy hunting, my guy.
Thank you. Good talking to you. Let's do this again soon. Let's do it again soon.
Well, yeah, I don't want to ruin your audio, but for sure, let's do it.
Bye.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, the obvious place is
Here was
the
crypto and the five black instead.
Palantir's been a very difficult stock to own, and over the last month, you've had a lot of analysts downgrade the stock. $19 price targets. It's trading there now, but they're just starting to see news that they're talking about their.
I check it out, dude. Thank you for that.
They have a crypto security platform that I don't think the market fully comprehends, and they'll be at the forefront of that. And
I wonder when that's going to come out. Do they have a start date? Is it like before? Probably in 2022.
All right, that's the stock side of things. Tim Seymour, anything on your radar with regard to the coins and tokens themselves, or another derivative play on them?
Well, first of all, yeah, I'm going to say a couple things, and I'm going to extend Guy's reference to the police. I mean, crypto and blockchain right now are the spirits in the material world, and having the folks down on the hill have these types of, sometimes they are clumsy, but ultimately this is about regulation. This is a $2 trillion industry. You have to have regulation around it. That will bring higher prices, believe it or not. It's actually a very good thing, and as awkward as these moments sometimes seem, and we've had a lot of fun on Fast Money when there have just been .com type investigations or even discussions into things like the metaverse. But this is very good news. When you look at the relative value trade within call it the cryptocurrencies or the platforms, what we're clearly seeing is moving down the curve. And the story of this year, it's Ethereum over Bitcoin, but how about Solana over Ethereum? I mean, Solana up 11,000% or something on a 1 year-over-year basis. So that's where the trade is getting very exciting, because I think a lot of investors, while drawn into some of these extraordinary moves, and not just 10 baggers, but absurd moves, exciting, and a lot of stuff out there that really needs to be kicked a lot harder.
Dope. Thank you for that, Connor.
The good news here is this is a broadening asset class with use cases that Danielle talked about today. This isn't just about speculation.
All right, Solana for Tim, Palantir for Guy. Thanks, guys, very much. Coming up on the show, we are all over the after-hours action in shares of GameStop and RH, the company formerly known as Restoration Hardware. We'll break down those details. Plus,
they were in Miami.
Disney lately. The stock rebounding from some
Disney, yeah, that's my stock right there, Disney.
Traders' attention. We've got more on that Disney trade when Fast Money returns after this break.
Yeah, that's a good question, Joel. I don't know why.
Global markets are challenging traditional
That
assumptions like never before. There is a new accelerated sense of responsibility, sustainability, and
All right, guys, I'm actually going to end the live. I got to get going, so thank you for watching.
Oh well.
Talk to you guys soon.